It's your guy, EJW, Elias J. Williams here, SaintsFootballTalk.com. Uh, Monday evening quarterback. Going to take a look at some of the things. We've got the all 22 in. And listen, I am generally a positive person. One thing I'm really good at is critiquing things. I'm a critical person. I'm someone you should probably hire for quality control, um, just to give you a different point of view. I'm the devil's advocate. That's what I like to do. So, we're going to look at some key moments in the game where I think that coaching could have done a better job. And we're going to go on a prerequisite and say this: coaching was much better based on what we needed to see from the team versus what we saw the first 3 weeks. There was some significant improvement across the board, all the way from the penalties, sticking with the run game. The defense looked much better with play calling, play selection, a couple of things here and there, but across the board, coaching staff looked much better. And yet, I still saw some things that ultimately stop them from winning the game. And to me, it's on the coaching side. But there will be some player things in here. So the first thing we're going to do is I'm going to take a look. One of the first plays we're going to look at is the touchdown pass that the Bills had, the 43-yard touchdown pass. And I'm going to ask you to look at something. You tell me if you notice what I notice. So check this play out. This is the touchdown. And listen, I hate when guys do this, right? I hate when guys throttle down and then are they tentative. Here's Isaac Yiadom throttling down and not making a play on the ball because he's expecting Demario Davis to make the tackle. Look at this nonsense. Pay attention to Yiadom and watch him throttle down with no one blocking him, with a clear ability to get to the receiver right here. Look at that. Look at this. He could make that play. He could have made that play. He instead throttled down. And then this play goes here. Now, what you'll see on the stat sheet is you'll see Demario Davis missed the tackle here. You'll see Sanker missed the tackle here. But they both missed tackles going full speed. Yiadom, because he was going half speed, couldn't even attempt the damn tackle. Get him off of my field. All right, so the next play I wanted to take a look at is the play following the interception by Sanker. All right, you're on your side of the 50 here, and you are in this funky formation. There's 21 personnel, so you've got your two running backs and then your two receivers here. To me, this formation suggests I probably want to get the ball to my runners here. To me, it doesn't disguise. It doesn't disguise much, right? Now, this is after a turnover. Why aren't we running a play action fake here? One, because Rattler has proven he's good with play action. But two, this is a part of the field where you attack. Hell, so much so that the defense rotates into a cover two because they're expecting them to attack. Now, when you watch this play, there's only one deep route on this play. Yes, Rattler missed it. That's on Rattler. But Rattler has missed a lot of plays. Where do we draw the line that the coaching must call a better play for this scenario if you want to be aggressive here? Let's hit on this. We're going to get a short route at the top here. We're going to get a short route here. The only deep route is this play here. And absolutely, he should have made that play. He absolutely should have made that play. But why don't you call a play action two-man route concept? Because effectively, with one going deep and one coming under, and you just let him chunk it. To me, that makes it more defined. It's like, hey, we're going to be aggressive here. No matter what, you're going to take some type of shot. It's either going to be a deep shot or it's going to be an intermediate shot. But we want you to go down the field here. Instead, you call a play that has one short route, two short routes, three short routes, and then one deep route. Look at all of this. What is this? On top of that, on top of that, this is versus six-man box. Can we do we have the ability to check into a run on this? Like there's so many things here that I think coaching could have done better. Yes, again, agree. Rattler has to see these shots, but he's also shown that he's more likely to miss these things. Coaching to me needs to help him here and make a better play call here. And now for the infamous Philly special. All right, here's my questions for you. It's the second quarter, right? Still got another half to play. You get the ball back. Okay. You're only down by 4 points. Okay. You determine that your best play here for this scenario on 3rd and 5 is a pass. Okay. Fine. What's the worst that can happen on this play? What's the worst thing that can happen down in this area? Right? Is an interception. Because you ultimately want to come away with 3 points here. So you kind of don't want to be risky in my opinion. You're only down 4, you get the ball back. You definitely want to come away with points here. So you decide your best pass play or your best play as a pass. Why in the blue hell do you decide that you want your receiver who isn't a quarterback throwing to your quarterback who isn't a receiver? Sure, this play falls on Olave for making the throw. But what in the blue cheese hell are we doing from a coaching standpoint that we felt it makes sense for the quarterback to ultimately end up with the ball when he could have just started with the ball in the first place? It wasn't a smart call. Not at this juncture in the game, not at this point, not in this area of the field. You ultimately came away with 0 points here in a scenario where the points weren't necessarily coming at a premium. It wasn't like you had been struggling all game to score. Wasn't like you had been struggling all game to move the ball. So what possesses you to get this freaky deaky down only 4? This play is getting too cute. It makes no sense here. And we know it because later on in the game, when we tried to be more traditional and have, our best passer as a quarterback and Rattler throw the ball to our best receiver in Olave, we actually scored a touchdown off of it. So you probably could have done the exact same thing here without all the unnecessary trickery that ended up in an interception. More getting too cute. Pass the ball, fine. Line Olave up on the outside, hike the ball to Rattler, live and die with your best pass and your best receiver. If they don't make the play, you kick the field goal. Even if it turns into an interception, I'm okay with the interception coming from our quarterback than it coming from my receiver who is an experienced playing quarterback and probably doesn't see the color flash that should tell him not to throw that ball. See what I'm saying? You're asking the receiver to see all of these things that a quarterback should do and not throw the ball, or you could just not run the play. One more time. One more time here. You gotta look at the nonsense. Ball is going to ultimately end up in Rattler's hands in the grand scheme of things. Why? Not a good play call. Finally, last thing I want to look at here is the 2 point conversion, right? And this is important. You get the 3 points earlier in the game instead of the interception. Potentially, you're not having to run a 2 point conversion here. It's the little things with the coaching that ultimately led to them losing this game in the fashion that they did. Even though the players made the majority of the mistakes, grand scheme, really don't feel like the coaching decisions were the greatest in certain scenarios. Overall, big picture, I thought the coaching was very much more improved from what we had saw the previous week and the prior 2 weeks with the team forming an identity. Again, we ran the ball a hell of a lot more. Love seeing Kendra be a 1B instead of a 2 to Kamara. So you saw him get closer to the same amount of snaps, touches as Kamara. I think that's the right way to use them. Kamara averaged over 5 yards per carry. I think Kendra averaged over 6, or it may have been over 4 and over 5. Regardless, right? Your two best runners are Kamara and Kendra. Rattler is a strong number 3 with his ability to escape the pocket. I loved seeing them draw up more plays for him in open field. This is a play on the goal line where everybody is condensed. Okay. And you determined that your best play was a run play here. Cool with that. Similar to the last play. Why not give the ball to one of your best runners or your best runner? Who's the best running back on this team? Who's the best player on this team? Kamara. Why isn't the ball in his hands on this play? If you're going to call a running play, you live and die with your best player here. You don't call this type of play for Rattler in these condensed situations or condensed conditions. He was never going to make this play, but you potentially could have gotten Kamara in this where he makes a guy miss or he powers through. Rattler ain't powering through nobody here. But let's go ahead and hit the play. You can't possibly tell me that your best runner here. See this? Come on, look at this. You ended up calling what amounted to an inside run, not even an outside run for Rattler. You call what amounted to an inside run that went between here. Look at this. Inside run. Did it almost work? Yes, it almost worked. But guess what? It may have almost worked a little bit better if the guy that they're tackling is 220 pounds instead of 200. That extra 20 pounds can make a difference. I'm just saying. Terrible play call? No, not a terrible play call. Do I understand the design? Yes. Do I understand using Rattler here? Yes, perfectly fine. But this is a condensed area of the field. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Still a 6-man box. Let's look. Let's check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, it's a 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, it's a 7-man box. So it's like, okay, like the play call, like that it's a run, just give it to your best runner. Stop complicating things as a play caller. Stop getting cute when you really don't have to. Kendra and Kamara ran fine in the red zone this game. Get a ball to one of them. So, yeah, overall, I give the coaching around a B game. You don't go into Buffalo and keep things this close if the coaching didn't improve, especially after what you saw last week versus the Seahawks. The Bills is just as much of a hostile stadium. You got the penalties cleaned up significantly. The defense performed heck of a lot better. You saw a commitment to the running game that was consistent. You saw your running backs get utilized. You saw some of the personality stand out a little more. I still would like to see more runs called because, again, I think this offensive line is better moving forward than they are backwards. And so allowing them to get off the ball and attack a man in the running game plays to their strengths more than dropping back and passing. I loved seeing Rattler use his legs more to get down the field. Love seeing the play calls that were designed for him to be highlighted as a runner. So you're seeing a lot of the personality start to show up for what's winning football on the offensive side of the ball. And yet Kellen Moore made a point that he wants his team to be tough and physical. He said nothing about being gadgety and cute during his press conference. He said he wanted them to be a tough and physical team. Well, if you want to establish yourself as that, you should probably minimize getting cute as often as you can until you've established that part of the personality. Then, when teams respect you as someone that will punch them in the mouth, then it makes the fake handoff pitch back play more likely to succeed. But if you're going to establish that identity, when the times get tough, just go for the punch in the mouth. There was a play he ran a fullback dive to Kendra that turned into 4, 5, 6 yards. Well, push comes to shove, you need a 2 yard gain, go back to your running backs. So I would give the coaching a B. I think there's a lot to grow on from this game. You would have loved to have seen them come away with a win to give them like the maximum amount of confidence, but you can take a lot from this game, especially all of the things that you cleaned up that went right. Now you're going home and you have an opportunity to get the fan base back into it with these two home games. Both are very winnable. Okay? They're both very winnable games, and you can. Here's the biggest thing that's going to stand out. At some point, as the team plays better around Rattler, if Rattler continues to miss throws, it's going to start highlighting that he's part of the problem. Right now, we're in a kind of transition phase. The first 3 games, the team around Rattler wasn't performing well in different ways. Rattler was playing average. Okay. This game was a little bit of a turning point. The team around him played a lot better. So now the mistakes from him are probably going to stand out a little bit more. And as the team continues to progress and play around him, it's going to magnify his mistakes. At some point, you're probably going to have to go to Shuck. It just depends on how well Rattler can continue to ascend and how can the coaching contend or how can the coaching continue to accentuate his positives while minimizing his negatives. Again, right now, certain plays that you're asking him to run, they're plays that he's shown he can't run. So why are we going back to it? Meanwhile, there's things that he's shown he does well, and we're not doing it enough or we're not doing it more. So at some point, if the coaching isn't going to adjust or if the coaching adjusts to the point where it's getting the most and now the player isn't improving, you will definitely have to take a look at Shuck at some point. But overall, thought it was a wonderful game. I enjoyed looking at it. I enjoyed going back. Had a few questions here and there, but this was the type of bounce back game you needed to see from them, even if they didn't get the win out of it. SaintsFootballTalk.com, Monday evening quarterback. Hope you enjoyed. Catch y'all later.